It's the starting five. I'm Yaron Weitzman, and this week we are here to discuss some good old-fashioned NBA beef. I'm talking, of course, about the Sixers-Nets game on Thursday night. Ben Simmons is expected to be in attendance, but that's not the only spicy matchup expected to take place. With that in mind, here are the five beefs I'm most excited to see play out. Number one, Ben Simmons versus Sixers fans. Let's get the important caveats out of the way. First, this is not in any way an endorsement of anything gross or ugly being tossed at Simmons. That said, there's something great about a former player returning to his former city, and there's something fun about the idea of a sports villain. That is what Simmons is going to be Thursday night in Philadelphia. And to be honest, I'm pretty surprised that he's going to be there. I had thought he would stay home for the game, but all indications thus far are that not only will he be in attendance, but that he will also be sitting on the bench with his Nets teammates. As Brooklyn Nets head coach Steve Nash said earlier this week, Simmons is very aware of the atmosphere he's walking into, and I don't expect the fact that he's going to be sitting on the bench here to neuter any reaction if the Sixers and Nets do meet up in the playoffs. And God, please let there be a Sixers-Nets playoffs. I think all basketball fans deserve that. All that being said, though, I do think this could be beneficial for Simmons to be on the sideline for his first game back in Philly. He does not have to worry about performing on the court and is now aware of how his body and mind will react to all the fan reactions. I think this is a good thing for him and the Nets going forward, but I'm also really interested to see what this all looks like Thursday night. Number two, Ben Simmons versus Joel Embiid. Sixers fans weren't the only ones giddy to see Simmons go, as Joel Embiid has made his feelings extremely clear since the trade. It started with this tweet, which you can see on the screen, and Embiid was even more direct when asked about the Simmons trade the day after the deal.
Everybody has moved on, and wish everybody the best, and whatever they want to accomplish, but focus on winning games here and trying to win a championship.
Watching the games, you can also just see how happy Embiid is to have Harden as his prime running mate instead of Simmons. He's pummeling opponents since the All-Star break and has cemented himself as probably the lead MVP candidate. If not the number one guy, then certainly right up there with Nikola Jokic. Embiid, however, wasn't the only one happy about the breakup. I reported this in a story for Fox Sports after the trade, but Simmons was incredibly hurt by the way Embiid threw him under the bus after the team lost to the Hawks last year in Game 7. We all know the story and how Simmons passed off that open dunk attempt and how Embiid labeled that the turning point of the game in a press conference afterwards. Well, for Simmons, that was the breaking point in their relationship. The two had been at odds at times throughout their time together with the Sixers, but they had also developed a mutual respect for one another. Here you can even see Embiid talking about how Simmons had come up to him after the team lost to the Celtics in the 2018 playoffs and told him that he expected the two of them to have a bright future together.
Looking at what we did, we got a bright future. Like at the end of the game, he came up to me, was like, there's going to be, show me his hands, and he was like, there's going to be a lot of rings on this. And then I was like, for sure. So we got a bright future.
Now, well, I think this clip from Simmons' introductory press conference with the Nets tells you all you need to know about their relationship.
Did you speak with Joel?
No, I did not.
Thank you.
I don't expect Simmons to do much trash talking during this game, but we all know who Embiid is and how he likes trolling opponents. Is he already working on one-liners? Does he have tweets written out? Is he going to invite the well-dressed man to come appear and maybe ring the Sixers bell? The possibilities are endless, and I, for one, even as someone who doesn't always enjoy the Embiid show, am very excited. Number three, Kevin Durant versus James Harden. There have been reports that by the end of Harden's time in Brooklyn, he and Durant were not communicating, and I was told at the time that the root of these issues was Harden having trouble adjusting to the fact that the entire Nets organization, and more specifically their offense, did not revolve solely around him. Isn't it amazing how his hamstring issues have basically disappeared since he joined the Sixers? And you can imagine Durant, no matter what he says in press conferences, is angered by the entire situation. I, for one, am hoping that when Harden switches out onto him at some point during this game, he tries taking out his anger on that play. Number four, Joel Embiid versus Andre Drummond. This, I think, was actually my favorite part about the mega Sixers-Nets deal. The NBA's most lopsided rivalry is now back. Remember that time Embiid called Drummond a bum? And bum, by the way, is an all-time trash-talking jab. Or how Drummond called Embiid fat and out of shape? They've gone back and forth a bunch over the years, though again, I'm not sure back and forth is fair. That's like saying the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote went back and forth. Embiid has absolutely dominated the matchup between the two. They briefly had to hide their feelings after the Sixers signed Drummond to be Embiid's backup in the offseason. How did Embiid react to that? Look at the eyes here. They tell you all you need to know. Drummond, though, is basically the only true center the Nets have, and you can imagine the Embiid matchup is one of the reasons they wanted him back in the Simmons-Harden deal. But I think it's fair to say that the fact that the Sixers gave Drummond up means they're not exactly fearing what he will do to Embiid. And I can guarantee you Embiid is super excited to go up against his old rival again. Number 5, Daryl Morey versus Sean Marks. I don't think I'm breaking any news here when I tell you that these two franchises are not exactly on the best of terms, though I also think that's more from the Nets going the Sixers' way. You don't exactly have to go very far to find NBA executives from other teams, not the Nets, but you can be assured that the Nets think this way as well, who are more than willing to accuse the Sixers of tampering in terms of how the whole Harden thing shook out. This is one of those times that makes me wish that the NBA did the equivalent of those NFL post-game handshakes where the two coaches have to shake hands even if they don't like each other. I would love to see Marks and Morey have to shake hands. It'd be completely ridiculous, and yet I would be all in. But either way, these two teams are going to be linked for a while now because of the moves made by Marks and Morey. Here's hoping that this is just the first of many matchups between these two franchises. That's your starting 5. I'm Yaron Weitzman. For more great NBA coverage, be sure to check out the Fox Sports app.